Meanwhile, the man identified by the Obama administration as a Russian agent walks free tonight. He is a living rebuke to this whole grotesque hoax. He is Carter Page, and he joins us live tonight. Carter Page, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So, this application repeatedly describes you as an agent of the Russian government, repeatedly. Are you aware of any criminal charges pending against you? Do you expect to be charged for working for the Russian government?
Not only am I not aware of it, Tucker, there's also the fact that no question I've ever been asked by the FBI in terms of any of these fake theories related to the dossier, as you're alluding to. None of those made any sense whatsoever. So there's not even a premise by which I could even conceivably be charged. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
And yet there are specifics from the dossier. Apparently, this comes from the dossier, but the application accuses you of meeting with two Russian officials, both named Igor Sechin and Igor Divyekin. Did you meet with either one of those men?
I never met with them in my life, ever. Yep.
Do you believe that allegation comes from the Steele dossier?
Absolutely. It's funny, in July of 2016, 2 months before the Yahoo News article came out, I started getting these calls from various news reporters, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, all asking me about these same two names of people I've never even heard of in my, I had heard of Sechin, I never even heard of Divyekin. And so it was obvious, and some people told me from the media that they heard about it from the Clinton campaign, et cetera, but, so finally they found someone to put it out in 45 days before the election in Yahoo News. So
the Clinton campaign, of course, learned about it from Christopher Steele, whom they were paying to gather this dossier. And it's my understanding, too, from the testimony in recent months that Steele never visited Russia, never bothered to go to Russia as he assembled this dossier. Is that correct?
That's my understanding as well. And, there's a number of lawsuits going on, and Mr. Gubarev down in Southern District of Florida. So
right.
Hopefully these civil, yes, I know. Hopefully these civil cases can get to the bottom of this. And it's
but
great.
Yet at the same time, now we learn that in October of 2016, really at the height of the intensity of the presidential campaign, Christopher Steele, on the payroll of the Clinton campaign, briefs officials at the State Department. And that briefing apparently was used as one of the pretexts for spying on you. Am I connecting those dots correctly?
That's my understanding, Tucker. And, just based on this, these 400 plus pages of documents, there's a lot in there about media. It's sort of quoting a lot of media sources. And, I've talked with a couple of former assistant U.S. attorneys, et cetera, and no one has ever heard of anything like this in terms of this type of a court filing. It's just absolutely preposterous in terms of their sources. So,
one of the reasons I find this story so fascinating is because you are an actual person, an American, a Naval Academy graduate, and you're willing to talk in public. It's amazing to me that you have been the target of this surveillance and live to tell the tale. You're not being charged, as you said, and I think you're probably right. What has it done to your life? How do you feel knowing that the federal government was spying on your personal life for a year?
Tucker, it's absolutely outrageous, but I have to say I'm very happy to have gotten the finally, 14 months later, the FBI answered my FOIA requests. This weekend, we started having a little bit of transparency. Obviously, there's 100 plus pages of blacked out information, and I think, it's just starting the process in terms of getting to the real truth of these crimes that were committed against American democracy with this abusive process in the FISA court.
But really committed against you. I mean, your government, on the basis of no actual evidence, has accused you of treason and spied on you as a result. I mean, how does that, as someone who served your country in the military as a naval officer, how does that make you feel?
Well, my bigger concern is, there's obviously big problems in the U.S. Department of Justice. There are these false court pleadings, the false court pleadings that U.S. Attorney Berman has put in terms of my civil case against Broadcasting Board of Governors. But the bigger issue, which is my bigger concern, is the complete failure of the U.S. intelligence community in terms of looking at this Russia issue. If this is what they're using...
Well, it sounds like they succeeded, actually. I don't know if it's a failure. They had a very specific goal in mind, and they've achieved it. That's why we're talking about it today. They've hamstrung the workings of government for a year and a half. Carter Page, you're a lot more forgiving than I would be in your position. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tucker.